time to launch into space. To blast into space, a rocket has to travel nearly 40 times faster than a jumbo jet. If it goes any slower, gravity pulls it back to Earth. Rockets are powered by burning fuel, which makes hot gases. These gases rush out of the engines, shooting the rocket forwards. So a single rocket is not powerful enough to launch a spacecraft or satellite into space. So rockets have 2 or 3 stages. So this is the first stage here. Booster rockets drop away after 2 minutes. Then we've got the second stage. The second stage engines carry the rocket further. The third stage is the main rocket tank. And then we've got the satellite goes into space here. So here's our big rocket, the whole thing. So the space shuttle takes off from Earth as a rocket. So we've got the space shuttle here. And the shuttle is blasted into space by 3 rocket engines and 2 huge booster engines. Okay, so this is our booster rocket here. So it's not a simple process getting something into space at all. Booster rockets give extra speed to a spacecraft. The main rocket tank drops away after 6 minutes. And satellites need rockets to launch them into space. Okay, they can't launch by themselves. Now, rocket powered. Now, you might have the things around the house to do this. You might have some leftover balloons or something. If you blow up a balloon and let it go, the balloon shoots off across the room. The air inside the balloon has rushed out, pushing the balloon away in the opposite direction. A rocket blasting into space works in a similar way. So that's a little experiment you can do at home, maybe. Life in space. Space is a dangerous place for astronauts. It can be boiling hot in the sunshine or freezing cold in the Earth's shadow. There is also radiation, which is rays of energy from the sun. You have to be very careful with radiation. It's not very good for you. Dust, rocks and bits from other rockets speed through space at such speed they could easily make a small hole in your spacecraft, which lets the air leak out, and that is not good. You need your spacecraft to not have any holes in it, okay? Just like you wouldn't want a boat to have any holes in it. The outer layer, so here we go. In a space suit, many layers of different materials are needed to keep the astronaut safe. So here's our astronaut here, okay? Now, we've got the outer layers protect from the fierce heat of the sun. So this part here. When we think of astronauts, we think of them in like a silvery costume, don't we? Silver spacesuit. This layer seals the suit from the vacuum of space. Ooh. And the soft lining goes next to the skin because you don't want them to be uncomfortable. Space meals. You will need dried noodles. Ask an adult to help you. Buy a dried snack such as noodles that just needs water added. This is the kind of food astronauts eat. Most of their meals are dried so they are not too heavy to launch into space. So dried noodles, not very exciting for living on. Probably actually a little bit hard to get hold of right now, as pasta, quite hard to get hold of. But for living on all the time, dried noodles, not very thrilling. Not very good for you either, because you don't want to just be eating dried noodles. You know we need a balanced diet, but it's just not very possible in space. It's tricky because you're not in a normal situation. So let's have a look at this astronaut. Spacesuits protect astronauts when they are out in space. So we've got the visor here. We've got a camera here. This is called a manned maneuvering unit, which is a jetpack. We've got a glove and a joystick control. So this is used for controlling things. The visor protects the astronaut's face from sunlight. The joystick control lets the astronaut move around in space. And tubes of water under the spacesuit carry away heat. Because remember, they are often very, very, very hot because of the sun. Okay, and see, hold on, we are going to look at this page now. So, space spies. Hundreds of satellites circle the Earth in space. They are used for communication, checking the weather, making maps, and finding out more about space. So without satellites, we wouldn't know all that we know about space now, and we wouldn't know, when we check our apps and our TV or however we find out about the weather, without satellites, we wouldn't know all that information. They are launched into space by rockets and may stay there for 10 years or more. So here we go. Here's a satellite. Communication satellites can beam pictures directly to your home through your own aerial dish. Weather satellites look down at the clouds and give warnings when a violent storm is approaching. So they're really important because we need to know about dangerous storms that are coming up. Different satellites each have their own job to do, looking at the Earth or the weather or out into space. Special satellite telescopes let astronomers look far out into the universe and discover what is out there. Earth-watching satellites look out for pollution such as dirty air over cities. Satellites can spot icebergs that may be a danger to ships. And pictures of the Earth can help make accurate maps. Fun fact from Andy. Spy satellites circling the Earth take pictures of secret locations and listen to secret radio messages from military ships or aircraft. So people from different countries can find out about what's going on in other countries. So satellites can be used for a lot of different purposes. How many different purposes, different uses can you list now that satellites are used for? And how many things can you tell your adult that you have learnt about space from all of our fantastic learning? I'd love to hear from you on the blog as well. Okay then, bye for now.